3.1 6
He's a baby.
4
She's a toddler.
2
He's a child.
9
She's a preteen.
1
She's a teenager.
5
He's in his early 20s.
7
She's in her mid-30s.
8
He's in his late 40s.
3
She's retired.
3.2 Part 1
Welcome back. Up next, age and the generation gap. We know how hard it can be to tell someone's age, but in fact it turns out there may be a way that's quite simple. It's called the mosquito tone test, and Mark is here to tell us more.
Thanks, Sue. The mosquito tone is a sound. A very high-pitched, very annoying sound, which is why it's named after the insect. What's interesting is that apparently, as we age, we slowly lose our ability to hear this sound. According to scientists, almost everyone under the age of 25 can hear the mosquito tone, but almost no one over 25 can hear it.
Really? Is that right?
Yes. And to test this out, I actually played the tone for my family last night. My wife and I heard absolutely nothing at all, but our teenage daughters could hear it. And in fact, they complained that it was an irritating sound that was quite painful to hear.
Oh no. Well, at the risk of irritating some of our younger listeners' ears, why don't we play the tone briefly now?
OK, here goes. I'm playing the tone in 3, 2, 1.
Have you played the tone yet?
I just did. Or at least I think I did.
Well, I suppose that just confirms that neither of us are under 25.
3.3 Part 2
Now, Mark, apart from testing a person's age, what is the mosquito tone being used for?
This has actually become an interesting controversy. Because the sound is so annoying, and because only the young can hear it, the mosquito tone is being used to keep teenagers away from certain places.
What kinds of places?
Well, for example, from shopping centres. As you know, in some towns you get large groups of young people hanging around shopping centres and causing trouble. And some shop owners say that these gangs can annoy other customers or frighten them away, which is obviously not good for business. So now these centres can play the mosquito tone over their audio system, and the groups of teenagers will feel uncomfortable and leave the area. But of course, the sound won't annoy the other customers at all, as they don't hear it.
Have you spoken to any of these shop owners?
Yes, I have. And they said that the mosquito tone has worked very well for them. And they also said that although it's true that the mosquito tone is certainly very annoying, it doesn't hurt the teenagers.
Which sounds like rather a good idea to me. But you said this was a controversy. Who's against it?
Well, there are some groups of people who are trying to ban the mosquito tone. They've pointed out a number of problems with it. Firstly, they worry that the sound really is harmful. But more to the point, they say that the mosquito tone affects all young people, some of whom are well-behaved and just want to go shopping. And finally, they say that the mosquito tone doesn't actually stop the problem of teenage gangs. It just drives them from one place to another.
Those do seem like good points.
Yes, indeed. And there's also an interesting twist. Some teenagers have discovered an advantage to the mosquito tone.
Oh, yes?
Well, the mosquito tone has also been released as a ringtone for your mobile. So in secondary schools that don't permit mobile phones, teens can use their phones in class. They can receive calls and messages during lessons, and teachers don't have any idea what is happening.
Because the teacher can't hear it. That must really annoy them.
That's right. And if they can't hear it, they can't put a stop to it.
3.4. 1.
I only saw him for a few minutes before he left.
Most people didn't own a computer until the 1980s.
Where did you grow up?
2.
What were you doing at 7 o'clock yesterday evening?
He was texting a friend when the accident happened.
While we were having our picnic, it started to rain.
Sorry, what did you say? I wasn't listening.
3.5. 1.
I used to be very shy when I was a child.
Tim used to go to the theatre a lot when he lived in London.
We used to live in Rome.
2.
I was very shy when I was a child.
Tim often went to the theatre when he lived in London.
We lived in Rome for 10 years.
3.6. 1.
Tie. T. I used to be shy. I liked reading.
2.
Dog. D. I've changed a lot. I enjoyed playing with my friends.
3.
Id. I started university. I collected insects.
3.7. 1.
I hated eating vegetables.
2.
We looked alike.
3.
I tried everything.
4.
We lived abroad.
5.
I hoped to pass.
6.
We decided to move.
3.8. 1.
I worked as a waiter last summer.
2.
We often play video games on Saturday evenings.
3.
We lived in America for 6 months.
4.
I watched too much TV last night.
5.
I usually cook at weekends.
6.
I look like my sister.
3.9. 1.
Where did you live when you were a child?
We lived in a village in the country.
2.
I used to love playing football when I was at primary school.
3.
This happened when I was 10. I was with my parents and we were shopping.
3.10. Photography. 1. Describing a photo. Photo 1. 1.
In the background, there's a mountain and some low cloud.
2.
In the bottom right-hand corner, there's a grandmother and 3 children.
3.
The boy in an orange t-shirt is standing in front of his grandmother.
4.
In the centre of the photo, there's a building with lots of steps.
5.
There's a small building that looks like a temple on top of a small hill.
Photo 2. 6.
In the foreground, there's a woman standing on a terrace looking at the view.
7.
The woman is standing behind a low wall.
8.
Opposite the woman, there's a building with a tower that looks like a church.
9.
In the distance, on the right, you can just see the top of an old building which looks like a ruin.
10.
In the top left-hand corner, there are some trees.
3.11. 2. Taking photos. 1. E.
You use flash when you want to take a photo somewhere dark, for example, indoors or at night.
2. A.
You zoom in when you're far away from something and you want to take a close-up of it.
3. G.
A photo can be out of focus if your camera isn't automatic and you haven't used the right settings.
4. D.
Many cameras have a portrait setting to use when you want to take a photo of a person.
5. C.
A photo can be overexposed if there's too much light on the subject when you're taking it.
6. B.
With good cameras, you can use different lenses, for example a wide-angle lens, when you want to take a photo of a landscape, but you can't get all of it in.
7. F.
You edit a photo when you change the size, colour or brightness.
3.12. 1.
Photo.
2.
Photograph.
3.
Photographer.
4.
Photography.
5.
Photographic.
6.
Photogenic.
7.
Photoshop.
3.13. 1.
There's a tree in the background.
2.
In the foreground, there's a girl.
3.
You can see a house in the distance.
4.
There's a man behind her.
5.
In the bottom right-hand corner, there's a dog.
3.14.
You don't need expensive photographic equipment to take amazing photos. The camera on your phone can be just as good. Here are my top 10 tips for taking great photos on your phone.
Tip 1.
Be ready. It may be an obvious thing to say, but remember to charge your phone and to keep your lens clean. I carry a charger with me most of the time. Also, keep your phone in your hand, not in your bag. I always keep my phone in camera mode, so that when I unlock it, it's ready to take pictures.
Tip 2.
Don't think twice. Take photos whenever you want and of whatever you want. There is nothing to lose. Some moments will never be repeated. If you don't like your picture, you can always delete it, but you can't turn back time.
Tip 3.
Learn about your phone camera. Read your phone manual and make sure you're using your camera in the best way. Sometimes little tips can really help you to improve your photos. Learn how you can control the exposure or focus on the object better. Know the strengths and weaknesses of your phone camera. My iPhone isn't good at night photography, so I try to use it only in the daytime.
Tip 4.
Don't use zoom. Don't forget that this is just a phone. It doesn't work like a camera with a DSLR lens. If you want to take a close-up of something, use your legs and move nearer.
Tip 5.
Light is important. Good photography is all about using light well. Even the most boring composition will be saved by good use of light, whether it's day or evening.
Tip 6.
Use the grid. Imagine your picture is divided into 9 equal squares. This is called the grid. The important parts of your photo should be positioned where the lines cross. Learn to use the grid and then, just as importantly, learn to do without it.
Tip 7.
Choose unique angles. Try looking at objects from a new perspective. Take a picture from the dog's view.
Tip 8.
Don't stick to one style. A lot of people nowadays try to take photos in the same style or colors. Don't do this. Show your creativity. Take any photos you like. Landscapes, portraits, or unusual compositions. Your own unique style will develop.
Tip 9.
Select and edit. Be selective. Choose only your best pictures and then edit those. There are many apps that will help you to do this. But remember that sometimes a picture can be better without any filters.
Tip 10.
Make your pictures come alive. Print your pictures, send them as postcards, give them to your friends, and hang them on your walls. Holding your photos in your hands is such a lovely feeling, much nicer than looking at them on a screen.
3.15.
I took this photograph when we were flying over the Great Wall of China. I was going back to the USA after a holiday in Beijing. I was sitting next to the window, so I had a great view. I'm not usually very good at taking photographs, but I'm quite proud of this one. It was a long flight, and by the time we finally arrived home in Washington, D.C., I was exhausted. But when I look at this photograph, it reminds me of the fantastic trip I had to China.
3.16.
She sat in the square and watched the tourists.
There's a box under your bed.
You'll find some cash inside my purse.
The cups are on that shelf there.
There's a man standing in front of the gate.
3.17.
The plane flew over the city.
He ran across the road.
He walked through the door.
Go along the street, past the chemist's.
Don't run down the steps. You'll fall.
3.18. 1.
We waited for the film to start.
Everybody laughed at me.
2.
I'm worried about my camera. The flash isn't working.
Lily's interested in astrology.
3.
Tony's good at spending other people's money.
She believes in taking lots of pictures and then choosing the best.
3.19. 1. Chris.
I took this photo last year when I was in Uganda. I was there working for 3 weeks with a charity, and before going back to London, the two friends I was working with and I decided to go and see the mountain gorillas, which live in the rainforest on the border of Uganda. On the day of the trek, I was feeling very nervous because I wasn't sure whether I would manage it. I'm not very fit, and we basically had to walk up the mountain in the rainforest until we found the gorillas, which could take as long as 5 or 6 hours. Luckily, after 2 hours, just when I was wondering if I could carry on, we found them. The first gorilla we saw was this silverback, which is the large dominant male in the group. I couldn't believe my eyes. He was so close, only about a couple of meters away. I'll never forget that moment. We stayed with the gorillas for an hour and then walked back down again. I love this photo because it reminds me of that moment, how proud and relieved I was to have got there, and probably the most amazing wildlife experience I've ever had. I keep it on my computer as my desktop background, and when I'm sitting working in rainy England, it reminds me of another world.
2. Tom.
So I took this photo in Australia when I was visiting my girlfriend Roz. She was studying out there for a year. It was taken in Byron Bay, which is the most easterly point of the Australian mainland. We were out walking along the beach, and in Byron, when the sun sets, it's a really special occasion. Lots of people go out onto the beach and watch the sun set over the bay. And so I took this photo just as the sun was setting. I really like the photo because I have some great memories of Byron Bay in Australia, because I've been there before on my own and I was really glad to go there with Roz. It was a really happy time of my life and we were having a lovely holiday. And I like that you can see the silhouettes of people on the sand and in the water, and I love the way the light comes off the sea and sand. It's one of several photos actually from that trip that we printed, and it's in a frame on a wall in our house.
3. Kate.
This is a photo I really like. Me and my partner, David, were staying with friends who live on the edge of Dartmoor, a really wild and beautiful place in Devon, in the southwest of the UK. We had a big lunch, and then we all decided to walk up to the top of the hill behind their house. The weather wasn't very good on most of the walk. In fact, at one point it rained quite hard, but when we got to the top, the sun came out and there was a glorious blue sky, and we could see the most fantastic view of the countryside. We asked another walker up there to take the photo for us. That's me and David in the middle, in red and green, with our little black dog. I like this photo because it's so colourful and we all look really happy. It was just a lovely, memorable day. I have the photo on my phone and my iPad. At the moment, it's my Facebook profile photo.
3.20.
Day 2, 9 a.m. Jenny has come to the UK for work and a bit of holiday. She's staying with her father-in-law Henry outside Oxford. She had some problems on her first day. Her suitcase didn't arrive and her laptop isn't working for some reason. Henry says that Luke, Rob's cousin, who lives in Oxford, will be able to fix her laptop. While they're walking to Henry's car to drive to Luke's house, Jenny's phone rings.
Hello? Yes, it is. Oh, that's great news. Thank you. Later today? Great. Now I won't have to buy new clothes. Yep, that's the right address. Bye.
Good news?
Great news. They found my suitcase, and they're bringing it over later today.
Excellent. Right, I'll take you to my nephew's house so he can fix your computer.
I'm looking forward to meeting Luke.
Oh, you'll like him. He's a bright boy. Not that I understand a word he says.
I bet he doesn't know much about Greek mythology either.
You're probably right.
Henry looks at one of the front wheels of his car.
Oh, that's funny.
What's wrong?
The tire's flat.
Do you have a spare?
Well, yes, but it shouldn't be flat. It's new and...
He walks round and looks at the other front wheel.
Oh, I don't believe it.
What is it?
They're both flat. They've been punctured.
What? Somebody did that on purpose? In the English countryside?
You get vandals everywhere these days. Well, I'll just have to stay here and see if I can get the AA to bring out another spare tire. I'll call you a taxi.
Isn't there a bus I could catch?
Well, there's a bus stop on the main road. You could get the bus to Oxford from there, I suppose.
How do I get to the bus stop?
The quickest way is the footpath at the back of the house.
I think I'll do that then.
Well, are you sure you want to get the bus? How will you find Luke's house?
You gave me the address. I can look it up on my phone if I get lost.
Ah, yes, of course. But this is really inconvenient for you. You were going to borrow my car, weren't you?
No, don't worry, Henry. I had actually decided to rent a car anyway. I'll need it for work, and it'll probably be cheaper to rent here than in London. I can get one while Luke is working his magic.
Well, if you're absolutely sure, just go to the back door and you'll see the path. Follow that. Takes you to the bus stop.
Okay. Oh, I'd like to cook dinner this evening to thank you for having me.
Oh, you don't need to do that.
I want to.
Well, if you're sure. What time?
How about 7 o'clock?
Great. And I'll keep my phone on in case you need me.
See you later, Henry.
Bye.
Jenny leaves to catch the bus, and Henry phones the Automobile Association. Suddenly, a dark car draws up in front of the house. The driver is a strange man he has never seen before.
Who's that?
Day 2, 11 a.m. Jenny finally arrives at Luke's house in Oxford.
Luke?
You must be Jenny. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
You too. Come in. Would you like some coffee? I've just made some.
I'd love to, but I'm running a bit late. We had trouble with the car, and then the bus took forever, and I really need to get to a car rental place. I'm really sorry, but could I just leave the computer with you?
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, that's great. I feel awful just leaving it here like this.
Honestly, don't worry about it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's cool. I love doing this kind of thing. I'll send you a text and let you know how I'm getting on.
That's nice of you, Luke. Thanks. See you later.
See you later.
.21.
Inside a car rental shop, the assistant is watching the news on TV on the counter. On the TV screen, there's a photograph of Heathrow Airport, and the headline, Airport Assault.
The man found unconscious at Heathrow Airport yesterday has been named as Andrew Page, a research scientist from Oxford. Police believe he was attacked.
Hello. Can I help you?
Oh, hi. I'd like to rent a car, please.
Have you hired from us before?
No.
OK, could I see your driving licence, please?
Yeah.
Great. So, what kind of car are you looking for?
Nothing too big. It's just for me.
OK, so a compact. 3-door?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
For how long?
9 days.
Automatic or manual?
An automatic, please.
Any additional drivers?
No, just me.
Great. Well, we have several models I can show you, but I'd recommend the Vauxhall Corsa. It's £65 per day, and that includes insurance.
That sounds promising. Can I take a look?
Of course. But first, I'd like to run through some of the basics. The petrol tank is full when you start, so if you return it with a full tank, there's no extra charge.
Great.
But if you get any parking tickets or speeding fines, you have to pay for them yourself.
Fair enough. Would it be possible to leave the car at the airport?
No problem. But that's a one-way rental, so there's an additional charge of £50.
OK.
And one last thing. Have you driven in the UK before?
Yes, I have. So driving on the left's not a problem.
That's good. OK, let's go out and take a look at the car. We can go through the paperwork afterwards.
Great.
As Jenny and the assistant leave the office to see the car, the TV shows Andrew's photograph with the headline, Airport Assault.
3.22.
Hello, can I help you?
Oh, hi. I'd like to rent a car, please.
Great. So, what kind of car are you looking for?
Nothing too big. It's just for me.
Okay, so a compact. 3-door?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Automatic or manual?
An automatic, please.
Any additional drivers?
No, just me.
It's £65 per day, and that includes insurance.
That sounds promising. Can I take a look?
But if you get any parking tickets or speeding fines, you have to pay for them yourself.
Fair enough. Would it be possible to leave the car at the airport?
And one last thing. Have you driven in the UK before?
Yes, I have. So driving on the left's not a problem.
3.23.
Day 2, 5 p.m. Jenny drives back to Henry's house. She's bought food to cook for dinner. She leaves the food on the table and looks for Henry.
Henry? Henry?
Henry doesn't seem to be there, so she phones him.
This is Henry Walker. I'm afraid I can't take your call at the moment. Please leave your message after the tone.
Hi, Henry. It's Jenny here. I just wanted to let you know everything went fine. I got my car and I'm back home. Remember, I'm making dinner. See you soon. Oh.
She notices some books on the floor and picks them up and puts them away. She then phones Luke.
Hi, Luke. It's Jenny.
Hi, Jenny. What's up?
I just wanted to apologize for running off this morning.
You really don't need to. I should apologise, actually. It's going to take me longer than I thought to unlock your computer. It's like there's an extra security code or something.
That's really weird.
Don't worry. I'm sure I can crack it.
I just have no idea how it got there. Hang on.
What is it?
My suitcase has arrived.
Hey, that's great.
Look at that. The lock's broken.
Must have been the baggage handlers.
Well, at least it's back.
So, how's Uncle Henry?
He isn't here. I called him, but he didn't answer.
He probably went for a walk. He often does that. He thinks about his research and stuff.
Well, I hope he's back in time for dinner.
He will be. He's always on time.
Yeah, Rob told me Henry's very punctual.
Unlike Rob.
Exactly.
Is that the jet lag catching up with you?
Yeah, I'm pretty tired.
You should have a nap. Don't worry. I'll get this computer working as soon as I can.
Thanks, Luke. See you later.
Bye.
Jenny sits down on the sofa and turns on the TV. But soon she closes her eyes and falls asleep. The TV is still on.
Just to the left of the green. Now for the news in your area.
Jenny suddenly wakes up. She's been asleep for almost 4 hours.
Oh no! Dinner! Henry? Henry? That's strange.
Jenny phones him again.
This is Henry Walker. I'm afraid I can't take your call at the moment. Please leave your message after the tone.
She then glances at the TV.
The victim of last night's assault at Heathrow Airport has been named as Andrew Page. Mr. Page is a research scientist from Oxford. Police believe he was attacked as he left the airport. He is now in hospital in a critical condition. Police are appealing to anyone who may have seen Mr. Page to contact them immediately. Mr. Page had just returned from New York, where he was conducting research on renewable energy.
Oh my gosh! Andrew!
Jenny picks up her phone and dials.
Hi, Jenny.
Rob, I need to talk to you.
Three point 24. 1.
I'm afraid I can't take your call at the moment.
2.
Please leave your message after the tone.
3.
Hi, Jenny. What's up?
4.
Hang on! My suitcase has arrived!
5.
Well, at least it's back.
6.
I'm pretty tired.
7.
Thanks, Luke. See you later.